Prized in the field for his keen sense of smell, beloved in the home for his companionship and loyalty, the Beagle's hunting abilities, short coat, and compact size make him one of the most popular hounds. His origins stretch so far back in time that they've never been accurately traced. But it is thought the Beagle was developed in very early times from the bloodhound, most likely bred to a gaze hound and a strain of predominantly white hounds. This was an effort to produce a smaller, more agile hunting companion, capable of tracking smaller game. References to a dog resembling the modern-day Beagle can be found in records dating back to 400 BC. By the 1400s, the small hound was popular in France, Greece, and Italy. The first Beagles reported of any significance in the United States were imported from England in the late 1800s. Today, Beagle packs still hunt rabbit and hare according to traditions that are hundreds of years old. You'll be seeing many Beagles during this presentation. Some are outstanding examples of the breed, others are less so. But all will help you in judging the Beagle. The Beagle has often been referred to as a miniature English foxhound. Indeed, it's a good idea for judges of Beagles to be familiar with the English foxhound standard, where some points relating to both breeds are more clearly explained. The Beagle is a solid, sturdy little hound, big for his inches, well-boned, and built for action. He typically should have a gentle, pleading expression. The Beagle comes in two varieties, 13 inches for hounds not exceeding 13 inches at the shoulder, and 15 inches for hounds that exceed 13 inches but do not exceed 15 inches. He's built four-square, that is, the proportion of body length as measured from the top of the shoulder blade to the back of the base of the tail should appear equal to the height as measured from the top of shoulder blade to the ground. This balance contributes to the Beagle's running ability and efficiency in the field. We'll examine the Beagle in more detail, following the method a judge uses. Let's begin with the head. The head is very important in the evaluation of the overall dog. The skull must be fairly long, slightly domed, with a broad, full cranium. This dog's skull is correctly shaped. This skull, however, is much too rounded, which is faulty, while this one is rather flat on top. The muzzle should be of medium length, straight and square cut. There is a moderate stop. The length of the skull from occiput to stop should be equal to the length of the muzzle from stop to tip of nose. Lips are free from flews. The nose should have large open nostrils. Dark pigment on the nose is preferred, although in the lemon and white and red and white, a lighter pigment fits the color of the hound and is equally acceptable. Although the standard makes no mention of the Beagle's bite, a scissors bite like this is generally preferred. An even bite is acceptable, however. In any case, the bite should not be overshot or undershot. How would you evaluate this head? This bitch's muzzle is a little too short, while this muzzle is too long and narrow. And this hound has too much lip, while this one lacks sufficient lip. Here, the muzzle is too cut away under the eyes, which is also faulty. This muzzle is correct. It's of medium length, straight, and square cut, fitting smoothly into the skull with a moderate stop. A strong muzzle contributes to correct Beagle type. The eyes contribute to the Beagle's gentle, pleading expression. They should be large, set well apart, and should be brown or hazel in color. Hazel meaning light brown, not yellow. These eyes are the correct size and are correctly placed. This hound's eyes, on the other hand, are too small, giving him a sullen expression. This is not desirable. And these eyes are too large and round, which detract from the desired expression. These eyes protrude, which could lead to injury in the field. This Beagle's eyes are correct. Ears are long and fine in texture, with short, thin hair. They are set on moderately low on a level with the outer corner of the eye. You can see that the ears are fairly broad and that the forward edge turns slightly inward to the cheek. There should be no indication that the Beagle is able to hold the ears erect, since this ability is not desirable. A good way to tell proper ear length is by drawing the ear out, like this. It should reach nearly to the end of the nose. Notice that the ears fall fairly close to the head and are rounded at the tips. These ears are too long. A bassety look is not desired. While these ears appear to be too short. And these are set too high. Here again is a correct Beagle head. There are no extremes in its structure to take away from its balance. You can see that the muzzle and skull are in proportion viewed from the side and from the front. This hound's lovely expression is created by the large, dark eyes and the long, fine, soft ears framing the head. Now let's consider the Beagle's neck. It should be of medium length, like this, strong in substance, but not thick, and in balance with the length of the back. The neck should be long enough for the dog to be able to put his nose to the ground while hunting. The throat should be clean and free from folds of skin, although a slight wrinkle below the angle of the jaw is permissible. This Beagle's neck is too short and thick in relation to his length of back. While here, there is too much wrinkling on the throat. This correct neck shows a slight arch from occiput to shoulder, which is preferred. The neck blends smoothly into shoulders, which are sloping, clean, muscular, and not heavy or loaded. The upper arm is also long, muscular, and sloping. This allows for great freedom of movement with agility and strength, which is essential for a hunting dog like the Beagle. These shoulders are too upright, while this Beagle is loaded in shoulder. This over-muscling is even more apparent from the front. This Beagle's upper arm is angled too far forward, which could hamper the dog's ability in the field. Notice how little forechest is visible. From the front, you can see the clean lines of this Beagle's shoulder and upper arm. The chest is correct, too. It is deep and broad, but not so broad as to restrict the dog's movement. There should be plenty of room for heart and lungs. This chest, however, is too wide. This may interfere with the free play of the shoulders. And this chest is too narrow and lacks depth. Here again is the correct width and depth of chest. As you can see, the forelegs are straight, with plenty of bone in proportion to size. Pasterns are short and straight. The feet are close, round, and firm, with full, hard pads. These feet, on the other hand, are too flat and splayed. And these forelegs are definitely not straight, which is very undesirable. The Beagle's body should be characterized by a short, muscular, strong back with well-sprung ribs. The back should be level. The loin is broad and slightly arched. The arch is created by the musculature, not the spine itself. This Beagle's back and loin are correct. Never confuse an arched loin with a roach back. A roach back is very undesirable, as is a sway back like this, which indicates weakness or lack of condition. The markings on this Beagle create the illusion of a bad top line, when in fact, this is not the case. When in doubt, check with your hands. How would you evaluate this Beagle's body? He appears to be longer than he is tall. Remember that the length, measured from the top of the shoulders to the back of the base of the tail, should appear equal to the height measured from the top of the shoulders to the ground, as seen here. The rear quarters are characterized by strong, well-muscled hips and thighs. There should be moderate bend of stifle and hock, with rear pasterns perpendicular to the ground, like this. Notice the short distance from hock joint to ground. From the rear, you can see that the hocks are firm and symmetrical. The well-muscled hindquarters on this hound will give him plenty of propelling power as he goes about his work in the field. This Beagle's front and rear are out of balance, with too much rear angulation for the front. This Beagle is balanced, but is too straight in both front and rear. Here is a well-balanced Beagle, built for efficiency and endurance. Another delightful feature of the Beagle is his distinctive tail. It's short compared to the rest of the Beagle and is set moderately high. It is carried gaily, but is not turned forward over the back. It has a slight curve, and there is a definite brush. The white tip, while not specified in the standard, is a most desirable feature. It's a practical way for the huntsman to keep track of his pack, as the white flags mark the location of the dogs. Tail faults include lack of brush, too gay, too long, too low, too much curl. The tail should be a reflection of the hound's happy, outgoing nature, like this. The Beagle's coat is close, hard, and of medium length. Short, fine, or soft coats are not correct. The Beagle is a working hound and should be shown in a natural state. Tidying of the coat is, of course, permissible. But this hound has been clippered on the throat. Clippering of the coat is undesirable. Trimming of whiskers is optional, as they are important sensory organs when the hound is at work. The tip of the tail should come to a natural point, never blunted. Coat color can be any true hound color. That includes tricolored, lemon and white, blue, and red and white. All of the dogs in this group have correct coat color. Blue in the Beagle refers to a tricolored hound with a distinct bluish cast to the coat, like this. It is associated with a lighter eye, which may give a harsher expression. Markings are of no importance in this breed, although the placement of markings can add or detract from the overall appearance of the dog. You should not give them any weight while judging the Beagle. The Beagle standard makes no mention of movement. Nevertheless, an efficient mover is definitely more in keeping with the breed's function. Beagles are best evaluated when gaited at a moderate speed and on a loose lead. Let's look at it more closely in slow motion. You can see the good reach in front due to the long upper arm we mentioned earlier. The well-muscled thighs give the dog good thrust from the rear. From the front, see how the legs move forward in a straight line, swinging neither in nor out. And from the rear, see how the hocks move parallel to each other, moving neither too close nor too far apart. How would you evaluate this dog's movement? His feet are crossing in front, which is incorrect. These are common gaiting problems. And here, this dog is moving too close behind. Remember that the rear legs should provide straight columns of support from hip to hock. Here again is correct movement, straight, powerful, and efficient, with good reach and drive. Here, the handler is moving the dog too fast. Remember, Beagles are best evaluated at a moderate speed and on a loose lead. Beagles are shown in two varieties, determined by height. Dogs which are between 13 inches and 15 inches at the shoulder, seen on the left, are shown separately from dogs 13 inches and under, seen on the right. Other than size, there is no difference between the two varieties, the 13-inch variety being merely a smaller version of the 15-inch. In no case, however, should any Beagle be over 15 inches at the shoulder. Any dog over 15 inches should be disqualified. This is the only disqualification in the Beagle standard. Because it is the only disqualification, judges must take responsibility for measuring any dog whose height is in question. You should also determine if the dog's height is in keeping with his balance and structure. A dog which is smaller only because its legs are too short, for example, is not desirable. One of the Beagle's most charming and indeed necessary traits is his friendly, outgoing temperament. Although he should be courageous in the hunt field, the Beagle must get along with both humans and other dogs. The Beagle standard describes a hound which should be capable of hunting the rabbit or hare with agility and endurance. Defects in body and running gear will have a negative effect on the hound who is taken out to hunt all day. In the past, Beagle breeders tended to specialize in producing hounds for either the field or the show ring. Happily, the pendulum seems to be swinging slowly back. Recently, there has been increased interest in cooperation between breeders interested in both field work and confirmation. Whatever his assigned task, the Beagle continues to carry out his work, as he has for thousands of years, with efficiency, friendliness, and good nature.